Hello, I'm Jen here in Singapore, and welcome to Dear Future Grandkids. So happy to have you here with me this afternoon. And I'm very excited, but also a little sad, because if you watched the show before, you know that Ange and Percy couldn't wait to ditch me. So here I am all by myself. But head on heart, getting to co-create a show with them during COVID has just been the best. I mean, you may not see or hear them, even though Ange was in our promos recently. They are still involved on the show behind the scenes, so they're still around. But for those tuning in for the first time, thank you so much. I really appreciate that. But also, what is this show about? Well, it's about looking back to look ahead. And what is your legacy? And what would you like to leave behind? And of course, at the end of the show, we ask all our guests the final big question. What would you say to your future grandkids? I'm so excited to kickstart the show. It's 2025. So the first guest is a friend of mine, a longtime friend, actually. Now, he has spent 18 years playing professional football, 14 years in Australia, 4 years in Singapore and Malaysia. He then moved on to broadcasting and coaching. Now, he began his playing career in 1985 at Sydney City before moving to Sydney Olympic. And in 1990, he was awarded the Joe Marston Medal for being the player of the match in the NSL final, in which Sydney Olympic beat the Marconi Stallions 2-0. He then played in the Malaysian League for Johor and Singapore in the early 1990s. He was a key member of the teams which won the League and Malaysia Cup double with both Johor in 1991 and Singapore in 1994. In the 1994 Malaysia Cup final, he scored a hat-trick in Singapore's 4-0 victory over Pahang, which is still remembered very fondly till today right here in Singapore. In fact, they just had their 30-year anniversary. Now, from the pitch, he then moved on to the screen as a football pundit, covering Asian football, the UEFA Champions League, the English Premier League, and the World Cup in Singapore and Malaysia for ESPN Star Sports and Astro Supersport in Malaysia. Now, I first met him, ages ago, maybe 15 to 20 years ago. And back then, he was a guest on my show when I was working as a sports presenter on ESPN Star Sports. And I couldn't believe it. I used to watch him on screen in all these matches in the Malaysia Cup. And then he strolls in, and he's one of our guests in the show. He's lovely back then. He's lovely back now. And so great to have him on the show. So without further ado, please welcome to Dear Future Grandkids, the one and only Abbas Saad.
Hey, Jen, thank you so much. That's a wonderful introduction. I haven't had that kind of introduction for a long time, but it's a privilege to be on your show, and nice to see you again.
Hey, mate, so good to see you. And just to let everyone know as well, you're coming to us live from Sydney, Australia. Mate, that introduction, one thing you have to remember, that is all you. That is all you, what you've achieved. And basically what we're doing is just sharing with everyone. So Abbas, fantastic. Great to have you on the show. And we always kickstart with some quick fire questions just to get to know you a little bit better, right? Yep. So you ready for this?
Go for it.
Fantastic. So how did you first get started in football?
Oh, well, obviously street football. Like many young kids, we start our football with friends on the street, and in my era, especially growing up. I mean, obviously, I was born in Lebanon and played on the streets of Lebanon. There's not many pitches like Singapore. There's not many good pitches.
Well, there's not a lot of pitches now in Singapore.
Maybe there's a lot now, but yeah, during my days, it was just playing on the street, having fun with your best friends and family members, and yeah, pretty much I just loved the game from early start. Just watching it on TV and trying to replicate the stars. Their skills and trying to hone those skills on the streets of Beirut. And what a great way to start your football career.
Fantastic. And from there, obviously, you built a career based on that. Now, why did you choose football to be your career?
Football is the only sport, actually, to be honest with you. It's the only sport that we grew up watching and playing. There was no other sport around as a youngster, and uh, and thank God for that. You have it, you've got the talent, I suppose, or you haven't got the talent. A lot of people got to hone those talents. They go into academies and do all sorts of training. We didn't have that. It's just off the cuffs. As you could see, early age, we played at school. We started at school soccer. That's where you see pretty much school sport is very, very important. It's very competitive, and you play against the best kids in school football, and you get to be seen and you get picked up.
Fantastic. There's a lot of hard work involved, and we get into that later on the show. But just very quickly, what's the one accomplishment you're most proud of?
I think the longevity and obviously the rewards. I play to win. I play to win. Obviously, to win in a team sport. Individual obviously honors are great, but we don't play for that. When you play for a club or for a team, that's the honor that you want. That's the rewards that you want. And of course, every team that I played for, I've been champions, I've been very, very lucky. Probably that's the biggest rewards for me. I started at Sydney City. I was champion at Sydney City. I went to Sydney Olympic. I was champion at Sydney Olympic. I went to Singapore. I did that same thing. I was double champion there. Yep. I went to Singapore. It's the same thing. Then I came back again to Sydney United. I was champion there. So, and then you represent your country. And that's the maximum reward. Every footballer wants to represent their country. And it was wonderful. I went to a World Cup. I got the experience a World Cup, the Under-20 World Cup. That was amazing. As a 17-year-old, 18-year-old, it's really amazing playing, 100,000 people in Chile. And then obviously you're making your Socceroo debut, and you don't forget that. But it's these are the rewards that you leave behind, and and they stay in your mind forever. And for me, they are the rewards that we play for.
I mean, just listening to you just list all of that just makes me think, what an underachiever. Can you just work harder, Abbas? I mean, what have you done? What have you done with your career, mate? Oh, wasted. You just wasted it all. No, I mean, in all honesty, just listening to all of that, and I know you as well, and I watched you growing up. The thing is, you've been so successful, but what's the most memorable career moment so far for you? What was like that one defining moment for you that you always look back and go, really fondly, and wow, I did that?
Probably two moments, and I'm going to say that obviously the Singapore, the double championship for Singapore, winning the league and the Malaysia Cup, and and to win it for a country with staff to win. I think it was like 14 years they had to wait to do that. But more importantly, I was on the team for 2 years before that, and I had lost. I could have had the chance to win the double in 1990 and in 1993, and end up losing. So to finally win it in 94, and with your best friends and players that that are like brothers, like family until today. And we had a pretty family-orientated group. We're still very, very close as a team. And that's where you built your success. Yeah. You need that bond, that family bond in a team to win success. And every team that I won it, I just spoke about, in Australia, the 3 teams in Australia, it was the same. The bonding was so close. The brotherhood was so close. And you don't, I mean, even now, players don't realize it's so important, the cohesion and the respect in that dressing room and amongst players. And that's why the big teams win it, because of that. And then obviously the second one is the double championship with Johor. And I think there's a lot of adversaries when I went there, when I left Singapore, went there. No one gave us a chance to do well. And to go there, to win the league, win the Malaysia Cup, and also win the Golden Boot on top of that, it's like a hat trick. That's my hat trick there. And it was a wonderful times in Johor too. It was a great team. great bunch of guys to play for. They looked after me. That's why, I mean, I love Malaysia just as much as I love Singapore. And you know, I've left a lot of history behind, as you said, a great legacy behind, and more importantly, the friendship until today. That is the most important thing for me.
Absolutely. You always talk about that in your book and articles as well. And you're back here in Singapore recently for the 30th anniversary of the 1994 Malaysia Cup win. You always talk about friendships, how strong the bond you have with them in terms of your team, and it's shown in the results on the pitch as well. But we know, I mean, just as footballers and as a coach as well, some people could be rather superstitious as well. Are you one of them? Are you superstitious? Do you have like a pre-match ritual, or you just believe in certain superstition that always eat the same meal before a match if you're winning? Do you have that?
No, I don't. My faith is more superstitious. I just have my little prayer, and you know, and the Almighty. You know, he's written our paths, and I just go with that, and I just go with the flow. It's the way I live my life. Everything happens for a reason. The success that I had, obviously, it's down to my faith and the support that I have, and that's a superstitious as far as I know a lot of them, and I played, and I know where you're coming from because I played with a lot of players who had, oh God, unbelievable things, and I just used to look at them, but you know what? Everyone's to their own, you know what I mean? That's what they believe in, and so be it. You know, I don't question that, and they don't question me.
So can you share which, in terms of the teammates that you played with and the teams that you managed, what was the one thing that sticks out in terms of a player having a superstition? Like, what did he do?
Boots.
Put
the left. He's a right. You know, he's a right footer, but he'll put his left foot on always first. He'll never put the right foot always first. So that's for me. That sort of stuck with me. And there's others also that they wear one socks on an extra socks, as I say, on one of the foot and one of the feet, and the other one just a normal sock. So it's incredible. But you know what? It worked for them because they've had successful careers. So I'm not gonna argue with that. I just actually have a smirk on my face and have a joke about it. But it is what it is.
Yeah. So when you think about it in terms of you, and I've known you for quite a while, worked with you as well, and I know your story and what you've been through, but you've always got this smile on your face. But there's so much that has gone on in your life. So what we want to talk about now is just, you know, the adversities that you have faced, and let's talk about your family and begin with your childhood as well. You've written about this in your book as well. You had a tough childhood in Lebanon. You escaped conflict. You were literally dodging bullets, and also from a tragedy of losing your brother there, and your family had to move to Australia. What was it like for you at that time? I mean, conflict, losing your brother, and then moving to a new country.
Yeah, you can't have a harder upbringing than that, I suppose, and the difficulties that we have faced. But you know what I mean? And again, I thank God. As hard as it was for me, people are going through a lot harder than I was. And that's the sad part. We are, 2025, and we are still talking about that hardship, which breaks my heart until today, because people don't realize what you have as a child, what you got to go through. I went through, yes, I probably went on the Richter scale, I probably went through a 7.5, maybe an 8 in hardship, but people are going through a 10 out of 10, which is just, you can just imagine what they're going through. But it was tough. Obviously, just picking up whatever we can, hiding, living on the floor. We couldn't even bloody live a meter maybe high, because obviously, like I said, dodging bullets, flying everywhere. You don't know where it's coming from. You don't know who's shooting. Half of your family is somewhere else, and the other half is with you. Then obviously the ultimate was losing my brother innocently. That was difficult. Because that was difficult on all fronts. It was difficult for my parents. We were young siblings. I mean, I was 7 years old. I had a 5-year-old brother. I had a 3-year-old sister. I had a 9-year-old brother. I had a 13-year-old. Yes, imagine, we're all very, very young, and the shock that we had to go through. And then obviously to get on a boat, to try and get on a boat to go to another country. We went to Cyprus. It was to Cyprus, and then wait for 2-3 months for our visas to be accepted to immigrate to this beautiful country that I live in. And this is my home. And I'm forever grateful for Australia. And I always say that, I know I was born in Lebanon. I mean, and Lebanon is in my heart too, but this is the country I've lived. This is the country where my children have been brought up. This is where my family lives now. And yeah, we are grateful, but it was really, really tough. And you can just imagine, we leave everything behind and start again. And it was tough. As tough as it was for us kids, it was very tough for my parents.
I mean, I just can't imagine in terms of what you went through, and having creature comforts in life here in Singapore. I think nobody can imagine what you went through and your parents went through as well, to just go from conflict and bringing you to a new country, a new environment, new culture. With your parents, I mean, with all that was going on, what was it like? What were they like with you after moving from Lebanon to Australia? What was your dad like?
Amazing.
What was your mum like? Yeah,
amazing. The best parents you can ever have. Amazing. You can't get more loving than what mum gave us. The hardship, the hard work, the love that my dad had to work. He had to work like 12 to 14 hours. Amazing. That's my hero right there, right in front of me there. That is my hero. You ask me who your heroes are. My parents are my hero, and especially my dad, what he had to go through, because they lost everything that they came in about 40 years old. So imagine, they worked so hard, and to lose everything, then start again, give us a new home, a new beginning. That was forever. I mean, my dad, obviously my late dad and my late mum, I've lost both of them, and they are my inspiration. That's what I live for, and that's the examples that I set for my kids, what my parents set for me.
nice. What was the life lesson that your dad gave you? Something that he said, or due to his actions, that something that you always remember that you will pass over to your children? Like, what was something that he did or
Be
said?
be humble and be respectful, and always believe in your faith. And he was a very holy, he was a very faithful, he had faith all over him. He's a holy man. He was a very, very quiet person. You wouldn't think he's my dad if you know my character, but I took that character for my mum. She was my mum was very tough. But my dad was a very, very quiet man. His faith was everything, hard work. And that's something that he always told me, never shirk the hard work. And that's why I played the way I played. I lived the way I lived. I never take anything for granted. Never take anything for granted. Never look down on anybody. Just be humble, because everybody has a story. Everybody has a story, and we all, you got a story, I've got a story. It doesn't mean my story is better than your story. No, we all have a story, and I just live life to the fullest. That's the other thing he told me. Enjoy life and live it to the fullest.
I think there's just 3 important lessons there that your dad gave you for life already: humility, work hard, and enjoy life. I mean,
absolutely.
Could not do any better than that. I'm sure he's so proud of you. But let's talk about your mom now. So what sort of memories or what evokes memories of your mom, and what sort of lessons did she give you? You said that in terms of personality wise, you're more like her, I guess, more gregarious, more outgoing, more outspoken.
Yeah, absolutely. That's spot on. That's the way my late mum was. Who's she was very straight. There's something on her mind, bang. And it's the same with me. It's probably my mouth has got me in trouble so many times. I don't think enough before I say what I want to say, but I have to let it out. Strong personality, always laughing, jovial. Yeah, enjoy life. For me, I'm like a bird, you know what I mean? I just fly wherever I land, but I try to be happy, which is important. And yeah, I think these are the characteristics or the characters that I embedded from my late mum.
And of course, you've been a dad for a while, got three
Mm,
wonderful children, and obviously with a solid foundation of what your parents have given you.
mm.
Just tell us, what are your children like? What is your relationship like with your children?
Oh, we're very close. We're very close. You can see them there. They're much older now.
Yeah.
They're 12, 21, and 23. There's my little princess in the middle. And as you can see, the one on the left, Muhammad Ali, which is Moody, a nickname, he's 23. He's a split image of myself at that age, to be honest. The other one, Malik is, I named him after Malik Awab, my former
Yep.
teammate, as you know.
Yep.
And yeah, look, they're wonderful kids. They're very loving. They're hardworking, very respectful, and that's the image. There's a family tree.
I tell you what, that's a
Beautiful
good-looking
wife. Yeah,
family. A good-looking family.
yeah. I would hope that they've got my side of that.
Obviously.
But I shouldn't say that. Yeah. So as you can see, a beautiful wife, caring wife, loving wife, and yeah, and the kids are wonderful.
That's amazing. I mean, that's all you could really hope for, right? To have a wonderful
Uh,
family, to make sure
That's
that
all.
everyone's doing well, and that
Yeah.
I have kids too, but it's just I just hope that they grow up to be good human beings, just to be the best that they
Yeah,
can be.
yeah. I mean, it's the example that we set, and that's what you want your kids to follow. And that's what I say to parents. Even when I deal with kids, when I'm coaching kids in that, I tell the parents, I said, your kid's going to follow your example. So what you say, what you do at that young age, he's gonna emulate that. You know what I mean? He's going to copy that. So yeah, I try and set the best examples that I can for my kids, and you can only hope that they do take that road ahead, and which in my kids they definitely do.
And the boys, none of them, or even you don't know, nobody wants to take up football as a career, or
Yeah,
did you
no,
go?
no,
Don't
Malik.
follow me. Yeah,
Yeah,
Malik
look,
does. Yeah,
yeah, Malik is a good footballer. He's
yeah.
he's had a little bit of bad luck the last 3 years. He's had now two ACLs. So he's just coming. He's coming back from his second ACL. He's a good footballer. He just turned 21 Christmas Day. He's a Christmas baby, so he was 21 at Christmas. Uh, but I'm going to be coaching him for the first time. So I've taken over the team that he's playing in, but he'll be returning in a couple of more months. So that's going to be a nightmare for me. I've never coached him before. I've always stayed very, very far from that. Wanted him to be his own man, which he is. The older one, he broke my heart because he was very, very talented, but he fell out of love at 15. He loves his fishing. He's an outdoor. He loves his outdoor. He's fishing. He's swimming. He's skiing. You name it, anything outdoor, and he does. And yeah, I got to respect that. I'm not a pushy dad. I'm not full control when it comes to that. My parents weren't with me. I chose football. I chose, the life that I love, and I want them to do the same thing. And that's what they're doing. As for the girl, she's got no percentage of sports in her. She's more like a Barbie girl. She's a girl. She loves her makeup. She loves her dresses, and yeah, she's a girl, and I want my girl to be that kind of woman. And I support them very, very dearly. Yeah.
Fantastic. I mean, you can definitely tell that when you talk about your kids, you just light
Mm.
up, and I can tell you're so proud of them. But one thing that I'm sure that your whole family is definitely proud of you and what you achieve in your career as well. So what we would like to do, and in this segment of the show is to have a bit of a show and tell. I know it's a
Mhm.
podcast as well, so I'll just describe it to all our listeners. It's just you've collected a lot of memorabilia in your time and in your career. Would you like to share some of it here in terms of what you've collected, what you've worn, and why is it so meaningful to you?
Yeah. Obviously, everybody writes a story, and I do. I have written a story, and that was way back, actually in '95. I think we'll talk a little bit more on my story and what's in it there. Very successful. At the time, it was sold out, I think, in less than a week. So I think they did about 20,000 copies or whatever it was, and it was sold out. And yeah, it's something proud. I think it's just my story up to 95. So it's not beyond that. I think we'll speak a little bit more beyond that. That's something that I've done. Obviously, you've seen some pictures. This is the Malaysia Cup. This is the team. It's a very dear, and the players there. Fundy in this picture, you know, one of the best players, or the best player that ever played in Singapore and in our team. You look at David Lee, the late Boran Abu Sama, who we lost quite early to cancer. He's definitely missed, but a great person. But it was great moments for me. The shirt, this is the number 9.
That shirt.
That's the Malaysia Cup, the double winning jersey that I wore with Singapore, which is very, very important. And this is the Johor, also the 1990. And these are very, very, very important factor. And of course, the big one, the individual honours. This is, I've lost one of the boots here, but definitely this is the golden boot that from the Malaysia Cup. You can probably see it there. That was in 1991. It was given to me. I've still got that, which is great. And obviously the medals that I've shared over the years, and a lot of memorabilia, which is I've given to charity, believe it or not. And people always thought I was crazy, but you know what? Memorabilia, if it's going to benefit a charity or somebody else, I was always willing to give. I give him boots, a lot of nearly all my shirts, some medals, you name it. So, but I'm happy to do that. The memories stay in your mind and in your heart. So they don't have to be physically in front of you. It's always you know, in your head. So yeah, look. Great moments for me, and I definitely, you know, I always wanted to leave a legacy when I played, and I hope that I left a legacy in Malaysia with Johor and all those teams and all the fans that watched us.
Yeah, you definitely did, because I'm living in this region as well. I know for a fact that till today, you're remembered and talked about fondly in Johor, in Malaysia, and in Singapore as well. And also, I'm from Selangor, so they know about you and they played against you as well. So they respect you as a footballer, respect what you've done, and also in terms of your punditry work. So which we're going to dive into now, which is loosely based on work, because you have a great job as a footballer, only if you're successful, because people don't see the hard work you have to do behind the scenes to get there, right? But we're going to talk about your book, and your book was up until 1995, and some people may not know the sort of adversity that you face. So let's tackle this right now. After 94, when you won a double, the Malaysia Cup with Singapore as well, and then you were then charged with match fixing at the prime of your career, which for any footballer, that's the worst thing you could be accused of at the time, for throwing away matches to make money on the side. And at that time, obviously, there's judge and jury and everything else, right? How and what did you do to keep your head above water? And even from that time onwards, you said, I'm innocent. I'm not part of this. And we know the crux of it was a teammate of yours was betting on matches on your own team, but to win. So they're not asking you to throw matches. And you did say at that time as well, my job as a striker is to score goals. So could you tell us about that difficult time you were in?
Yeah, look, I had nothing to hide. You know, when you can sleep comfortably, you got nothing to worry about. And I've always you know, presented my innocence. I've always been straight on. Look, it was the biggest shock. It was a shock to me. It was a massive shock to me. It was a difficult period, as you said. But, you know, you're always in your heart, you're comfortable, your head, you're comfortable, and, you know, and with your faith, you're comfortable. And the people around you, you know, that the love that you had from everybody. And that made it sort of easier for me. Don't get me wrong. I still had to fight my case, and I had to try and prove my innocence, but I knew I've done absolutely nothing wrong. Everybody that played with me knew I've done nothing wrong. Everybody that associated with me, they all know me. I had nothing to hide in that sense. But yeah, look, it went to court. I had to fight it. At the end, they gave me, I think I was fined $50,000 at the
Yes,
time.
correct. Yeah.
At the time, so the guilty, how they found me guilty, and until today, I don't know how, in what case, because match fixing, when you fix games, when you sell the games, when you sell your teammates, when you sell your soul, as far as I'm concerned, and I would never, and I would never ever in my lifetime do something like that. I would never do that. And like I said to you, the people I played with, the players I played, they know that. And us players, we know if you're dirty or if you're not dirty. And,
Yeah.
and I'm sure there was a few dirty players running around, but
Yeah.
definitely not from us. And and then they said that we're selling games to win. How do you sell games to win? I still, until today, I don't understand. I was a striker to score goals. So what? You want me not to score goals? So if I didn't,
Yeah.
if I didn't score goals, then you can point the finger at me. But I
Yeah.
was scoring. I was scoring for my team. I get paid a lot of money to be the top striker in the team to score goals. So it didn't make sense. My ex-teammate Michael Varner, who was betting on our team to win, I had nothing to do with match fixing there, and he was not match fixing there. That is not match fixing. Okay, that's just somebody who was betting on games, and it was a no-no. And we all knew you can't bet on games. As a professional player, you shouldn't be. And even until today, you should not be betting on your own games or other teams' games, because you are still playing at the time. So we knew that, and I've never done that. I've never had a bet. No, I shouldn't. I'm not going to lie to you. I Melbourne Cup. I've put maybe $100 on the Melbourne Cup horses, maybe three or four times in my lifetime. But that's the only time. But I've never ever bet on football or any other sport. So you can't tell me that I was wrong in that sense. But it was a difficult time, and it took a long time. And I fought that, as you know. I think we'll come to that. But yeah, look, it was difficult. But faith, great people around you, good friends, and a clean heart and mind, that should set you apart.
Clean heart and mind, and you didn't do anything wrong. You just had
No,
to fight it because
absolutely.
it's public perception, and being charged is something so serious. And as we go through this journey with you, and only, what was it, 10, 12 years later, the Football Association of Singapore finally exonerated you, which means you're allowed to come back to this region, you're allowed to work in this industry, you're allowed to get your coaching badges, you're allowed to come back as a pundit. Was it, when the news came out, was it a sense of relief finally, or did you feel hard done by that it took more than 10 years for this to come out?
Look, relief, absolutely. I fought it from straight after my court case. I went straight away. I had lawyers working behind the scene. FIFA exonerated me straight away. In Australia, I got exonerated straight away, but the AFC stuck because of the guilty, obviously, part there, and that's the one I had to fight. And for me, I wanted to clear my name, and my name is more, my family name is more important than anything, and I wanted to clear that. I did not want to be remembered for that. I wanted to be remembered for for the accolades on the football field. And that was important for me. And I kept going, and the FA kept promising me year after year after year after year after year. And yes, at the end, they came to their senses, and they looked up my case, and pretty much, I don't know if it was an apology, but maybe they said it was wrong time at the wrong place, or whatever it was. But it is what it is. Look, I don't forget. I forgive, but I don't forget.
Yeah.
And I've forgiven. I've moved ahead. I moved forward, and I appreciate that they did that. I appreciate everything that Singapore was giving me, the love that they continued to giving me, even straight after the court case. I mean, I remember walking straight after my court case. A friend of mine was playing at, I'm not sure if it was Hougang Stadium or Baduk Stadium.
Yeah.
And he goes, "Why don't we go and watch the game?" And as I walked into the stadium, this is straight after my court case. There's not many people know that. And I went there. So I had something to eat, and I went to the game. As I walked into the stadium, the game was on. they stopped the game. They stopped the
Wow.
game, and everybody in the grandstand just got up and gave me the biggest standing ovation and clap. Do you understand
Yeah.
what that? I had tears in
Yeah.
my eye, but
Yeah.
to see the love and the support, and come on, and you don't get that if you're a bad person, if you've done bad things, and everybody knew that I played with my heart on my sleeve.
Yes. Absolutely.
I played, you know, the blood and the sweat that I always give it. I played with broken shoulder. I played with a fractured ankle. I did everything that I could to win for the team. So you should never take that away from me. And I think everybody knows that or knew me. But to get that standing ovation, that just cleared all the stress that I had for that month in the court case. That just went right away. And gave me that belief to say, you know what, the whole country's behind you.
Yeah. You
Keep your,
needed it and
yeah,
you got it.
yeah, exactly. Keep your head high and just live your life, and that's what I did.
Um, you talked about forgiving, but you don't forget.
Mm.
But just hearing this again and what you've been through, I find it hard to forgive. How did you get yourself to sort of let go and to forgive and move on? Because I think that's a fantastic lesson there. How do you do that when you're so hard done by? Because this is so serious for a professional footballer at the age of 27 then.
It's my faith. It's an error. It's my religion. It's what I believe in, and you can't, honestly, you can't keep looking behind you. What's gone behind you is gone. You know what I mean? I just want to move forward. I want to look. uh, As I said to you, I live like, I'm like a bird. I fly. I love to live with freedom, and I just want to move ahead. And I don't want to look behind me because I can't bring back the past. I just said to myself, what am I going to do? I can't bring back the past. The people who done wrong with me, they're the one who've got to live with it. Correct? They're the ones
Yep.
who got to live with it.
Yep.
I'm not. I'm sure they're not happy with what they did, but if they had lied, well, they got to live with that lie. But for me, I want to look ahead. I
Yeah.
want to, I want to try improve my life. But it sort of gave me a lesson of trust, not to, because I was a happy-go-lucky person. I just trusted it, anybody and everybody, and trust me, I've ran into some shady people
I'm
in
sure.
my time, and I've just looked them up and down. Yeah, they can take a picture, they can sit, but it doesn't mean that I'm associated with them. But
Yeah.
I'm that kind of person because I'm a friendly guy, friendly person. I'm humble. It's the way I've been brought up with my family, and I respect anybody and everybody. I don't have, I respect everybody's color, everybody's religion, everybody's life, whatever you live. I don't look down on anybody. So, but it sort of taught me just to be careful, not to trust just too many
Yeah.
people because some of the people that I did trust, they're the ones who sort of turned on me uh, with pressure. And I do forgive them. And I do forgive them. Trust me, I forgive them because I know for a fact that they were pushed into doing it.
That's amazing that you
Mm,
could see the other side. And
yeah.
Abbas, after all that you've been through in terms of your career and the match fixing issue, are there any transferable skills from football that you can use for life itself?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I think the camaraderie, the togetherness that you gather during your football career. Don't forget, yeah, we saw more of each other on the football field, at training, in the dressing room, more than you see from your family. You spend more time with those people and you share their stories and you listen to their stories and you learn from their behavior. These are the things, and I take the good and the bad from everybody. And I make sure that, the good things, of course, I take on board and I try and replicate and be that kind of person. And the bad things, I try not, I'll make sure that, yeah, I should not go to that road, and I should be careful. You learn. It's a life skill. It's a life skill. The life skills that you learn within a football team is unbelievable. It's unbelievable. And the traveling that you do together, and you see the things all over the world. Yeah, there's so much to learn. There's so much to learn because you're not sitting in a room here. It's an open stadium. You see so many things and you hear so many things. So these are the things I think are important. I've taken that on board, the good things, and of course, and you learn. And I'll make sure I don't fall into the bad things that a lot of the players have gone through also.
And we know for a fact, and those especially watching for the first time just got to know you, we know that you're a winner on the pitch. That's a given. You're a winner on the pitch every way that you played. So tell us, how do you win at life? Or how do we win at life?
How do you win at life? Well, I think it's important to approach life with a smile. Yeah, you can't be too serious. If I'm gonna be serious all the time, I think I'll die. I would die from stress at 20. I think I'll be gone. You know what I mean? So I don't take things for granted. I don't take things too seriously, and I just, like I said to you, I just like to tackle things straight on. Good or bad, I'll definitely will not shirk my responsibilities or the challenge. For me, the challenge on the football field meant everything to me. Second is last to me. So it's either first or nothing. So that's the kind of person that I was. That's the kind of player that I was. And that's the kind of winner. And if you want to be a winner, that's the mentality you got to have. And I think in life, I'm the same. Either when I do something, I got to do it to the best of my ability. I've got to give everything. I make sure I give everything. I don't just do it half-heartedly, whatever. No, that's. I think my kids will tell you all about me. So I want you to do it. When you're doing something, give it everything, and that's important. But just don't take life too seriously, which is important, and just be humble and respectful. For me, that's just the way I live my life, and I think that's what I try and pass on to anybody.
Yeah, it's really interesting as well because you've been brought up well and conditioned by your parents and your dad. Remember, you talked about humility as well. You just said the same thing in terms of advice that you've given your children. So
yeah,
a job well done with the Abbas and the Saad family there, mate. I'm so glad we connected. I'm so glad that you came on the show. I mean, we could talk for hours and hours and hours because you've got so many nuggets of life and advice that you can share from the pitch to life in general as well, mate. It's been fantastic. We're so honored to create a video time capsule with you today. Unfortunately, time's up. We got to close the show, but you get to leave a message now. It's a bit special today, not just for your future grandkids, but also to their future footballers, coach. What would you say to them?
Just be yourself. Always trust yourself. I think it's important. You're going to get a lot of negativity from a lot of people, but believe in yourself. Believe in your ability. You got to work hard for your skills, which is important. I mean, for me, I used to work hours and hours and hours, but I worked on things, which is important. Don't let people put you down. And just one voice doesn't mean that you're not good enough. And especially as a footballer, because I was told by 2 or 3 coaches I was not good enough. I was too small. I was not good enough. Easily, I could have given up. But no, you never give up because I believed in myself. I believed in my own ability, and I kept at it. And then when the 4th coach, when he picked me up, obviously, my career just went skyrocketed there. So, but yeah, always believe in yourself, trust your ability, and just work hard. I mean, those 3 things are simple. I mean, I'm sure a lot of people will tell you that, but it's an honest opinion from me. Never give up. Never give up, and never sort of take negativity at heart too much because we're not perfect. Nobody's perfect. I definitely have never been perfect in my life. So you're going to have your ups and downs. It's how well you come back from those negativity is what makes you and shapes you as a player and as a person. So I think that's probably the best advice I can give anyone.
That's fantastic advice for your future grandkids, future footballers, and future coaches, or maybe even future television pundits as well. Abbas, it's an absolute pleasure, mate. Thank you so much for taking the time. Much love to your family, and thank you so much for coming to us live from Sydney, Australia as well. Mate, it's been
Thank,
amazing.
thank you. It's always a pleasure to be part with anything with yourself there. Great to see you. I'm so happy that things are well, your family's well, and I just want to wish all of viewers. I just hope 2025 is the best year out. I hope it's a peaceful one. What we've gone through in 2024, and especially in my old land where I was brought up around the Middle East. I just hope that we see peace as quickly as possible, and some humility, some respect. That's what I want to see, to humanity, and I think that's important for me. I hope 2025 we'll see a little bit more of that, and just wish everybody great health and wealth and prosperity. That's all I could say from my end and from my family here in Australia.
Absolutely, and what a great way to end the show. And thank you all for watching Dear Future Grandkids. I have been Jen, and thanks again to our wonderful guests, Abbas. And remember, the great Pele once said, the more difficult the victory, the greater the happiness in winning. I hope I got that right. Thank you
I
so
love
much.
that.
See you, Abbas. Take care, everybody. We'll see you next time. Take care. Bye-bye.
Cheers.